So I've gone ahead and run the simulation, and as you can see, if we look at the legend up here, the heating is a really small fraction of the total kind of load that's going on here. And I think that's because we're overestimating the amount of electrical consumption that's going on with the equipment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click and actually modify these wattages here. I'm going to change these to, let's say, 0.2. And I'm going to do the same thing with the north exposure one, just to take these way down. I just want to get a little more significant look at what our actual heating loads are and cooling loads. So I'm going to click done on that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll run the first simulation, and I'll run the second one, but you can end the clip before they're done, and then we'll pick it up in another clip. It takes about 39 seconds to go through and run each one of these evaluations. And in the next one, I'm going to be able to pull the two scenarios onto a sheet so we can do a side-by-side comparison. So while we're going through this, though, I mean, we have a lot of nice output that comes from this this simulator that they've created. Peak demand, very important in areas where both you're considering moderating peak demand to help out utilities and also sizing equipment. The CO2 emissions now, a real critical factor in green building design. And so here we've completed that off now. So now we have a much more, I think, realistic look at our consumption of heating and cooling loads here for our building with a south exposure. And I'm going to go ahead and run this next one again. And while that's running, we can look at where we're going to go with this. So we're right now in New York City. I'm going to pick another location. Let's say we'll pick, I don't know, somewhere in a cool climate. Let's say Denver we'll pick. And we'll just have we'll be able to do a kind of an analysis for when we're siting these, how sensitive the building's orientation is according to climate. Whether it's important in northern climates, we don't really, if let's say there was little solar gain, we might be able to orient the building in any direction. But when we get to climates where we have a lot of sunshine and a lot of cooling and heating loads, we may want to consider that that's a much more critical issue in our development of our building. So here we have now a real good strong comparison of the difference between the two orientations. So here we have a significant increase in the amount of heating load just by taking that window and taking it away from availability of sunlight. So in our next evaluation, we're going to pick up another city. This is New York City. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my screen clipping tool, and I've already used it once here. So I'm going to go and grab a new one, and I'm going to grab over this whole window so that we can record this output. And I'll just push this out of the way for a minute. Let's look at a few of other things that are on here. We have kind of some nice outputs. We get an idea of what our daily fluctuations are through either the month or of the year, outdoor temperatures. And we also get a really important thing for siting other things on the building site. We get a wind rose, which tells us where the predominant winds are coming at different times of the year. So that can help us determine bufferings of plantings to help mitigate wind chill and or accentuate cooling for summer, depending on what our goals are. So I'll end this clip here, and then I'll start to set up for another evaluation. And one other thing you want to get off of this is if we go to the overview and we look at this in tabular values, we want to do a screen clip of this also. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new clip. I'm going to save this one. I'll save this as New York Restroom or New York Visitor Center. Oops. We'll call that center 1. and then we'll do a new one. And we want to catch some of these values here so that we can use them later on. And we'll save this as Visitor Center 2. And I'll put the clipping tool away. And then the next thing we want to do is actually change our location. So we're going to go out to, I don't know if it's preferences. I have to look here for a minute. Nope, that's not where it is. Cancel. Please cancel. Must be doing another calculation. Project, properties, site. And we'll go from New York City now, and we'll go to Denver, Colorado. So there it is up there. And at Stapleton, that means, it was LaGuardia Airport, Stapleton Airport. The idea is that they have sensors at these places, and they have accurate recording of the weather data. So I'm going to click OK with that. And now both of these are turning yellow again because they're highlighting that they really need to be run. A new evaluation needs to be run. So I'm going to go back to the summary overview, and I'm going to go ahead and run these, and I'll let the video clip run, but you can go ahead and move faster through it. Actually, I'll run these. I'll let these run. I'll end the clip, and then I'll pick up another one once I've run both of these evaluations.